Albert Einstein said, the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe. I have good news. I have very good news. The universe is very friendly, so let's start exploring our friend right now. One of the most wonderful things about the universe and the earth is that it is our heritage to live for 900 years without showing any sign of aging. There is only one thing that causes all disease, all injury, all unhappiness, and the aging process. And we're going to talk today about what causes that, plus 12 very massively important things that you need to know that you probably don't. Stay tuned. It's going to be a wild ride, and we're going to have fun riding the ride. I am Dr. Michael Byron Taylor, MD, a graduate of Texas A&M University and the University of Texas Health Science Center at Galveston. I was an ER doctor for 40 years. I retired from that position this year in order to be able to help people in other ways. One of the most important things I learned from working in the emergency room for all that time was that nobody needs an emergency room. Or at least I should say they would not need an emergency room if they would learn how to think properly. Just as William Shakespeare said, nothing is unless your thinking makes it so. Is the proof in the pudding? Too. I have not missed a day of work because of illness or accident since 1982. We were taught a lot about the physical body and some about the mental, but nothing about the spiritual healing, which is the most important healing of all. The truth is actually very rare on earth. Almost everything I was ever taught by humans is wrong. And most people, if they would just reverse all their thinking, they would have it about right. In medical school, we were not taught the root cause of all disease. When I was in medical school, one of our professors said that half the things we're teaching you right now are wrong, but we have to teach it all because we're not sure which part is right and which part isn't right. Now, my brother Jesus said, know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Now, very little truth is known on earth. Shakespeare said that nothing is unless your thinking makes it so. When I started medical school, I was in the mainstream of medical thought and world thought. But a month into my freshman year in 1974, something happened that changed all that. Somebody that I loved very much provided me with a very painful and very strong catalyst. It was the worst pain that I have ever had in this life. A catalyst is something that is given to us to stimulate our mental, physical, or spiritual development. Shortly after that, I was able to experience the magnificence of spiritual healing. I memorized Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This started me on a path of searching because I had to find out how somebody could say, I love you, and then act the opposite. Jesus said, search and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Ask and you shall receive. I figured nothing out, but I asked for the answers and I have them. After I memorized Psalms 23, I would repeat it over and over again while I was in class and while I was at home and wherever I went. It was like I was driving around in an armored car. Nothing could touch me. I knew that I was protected and loved and watched over. So I set out to study love and to define love. After a moderate degree of effort, my definition of love became this. Love is feelings, words, thoughts, and actions which convey a concern for another being, person, or thing which is greater than or equal to one's concern for himself or herself. I was angry at the person who provided this painful catalyst for a very long time, until I realized after many years and much study and meditation that she was my greatest teacher of this life. I wanted to be a surgeon, probably a plastic surgeon, but I quit my residency so I could raise our children. So as it turned out, instead of me being a rich, vain, superficial, arrogant plastic surgeon, I have wisdom, which is much more valuable. So I have learned that wisdom is the perfect understanding of all that is or might be. Now all there is love, and all there might be is more love. Very importantly, as a result of my searching, I have learned why I am here on planet Earth. There's several things that are very important that I have been assigned to do. Number one is to save the planet from nuclear destruction or otherwise. Number two is to maximize the harvest. Number three is to heal as many people as want to be healed. And number four is to help people as much as I can in every way I can. Now you know who I am and why I'm here. Now we're going to talk about the 12 things that you need to know that you probably don't. It's awesome. Hang on. It's a wild ride. It's true. Know the truth and it'll set you free. Now the greatest searching that any human can do is meditation, which means listening to God and the higher intelligence beings, my friends. So that's how I learned all my greatest stuff. Okay, so what happens is I hear something in meditation and then I'm given a confirmation in the form of a written book or a video or seminar or another person telling me exactly what I heard in my meditations so that I know it's true. Now it's time for us to talk about all those things that you don't know that you need to know. Number one, what is the normal human lifespan? I've given you a hint already, but it's not 70 years. Number two, what is the one cause of all disease, all injuries, all unhappiness, and of the aging process? Number three, what are the two things combined together that can cure anything? Number four, what is the one law of the universe? Number five, who are you really? What is your true identity? Number six, why are you here on earth? Number seven, what is the greatest success technique that has ever been invented? Number eight, what is the most valuable use of any person's time? Number nine, what is the most important time management question you can ever ask yourself? Number 10, what is the Great Pyramid of Giza all about? Number 11, the Star of Bethlehem. Was it a star or something else? Number 12, the Bible. Who wrote it and why and how should you handle it? Before I tell you the answers to the 12 questions, I want to say I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth with God's help. and I am willing to accept the consequences of my honesty. Now it's time to talk about the answers to the 12 questions. Number 1, what is the normal human lifespan on Earth? The answer to that is 900 years. Methuselah lived to be 969 years, and yes, those are the same years as ours. But the reason for the shortened lifespan of today is the same thing that causes all the disease and the unhappiness and the accidents. So that brings us to question 2. What is the cause of all disease and all those things that we don't want? And the answer is conflict. Conflict with other selves. The classic example of conflict causing disease is anger. Anger that is not processed properly is what causes cancer. So the normal lifespan is 900 years, and now we're having people getting themselves into all kind of trouble with the diseases and the accidents and the unhappiness. So now question 3, what can cure anything? And the answer is meditation and affirmation. Meditation is listening to God or to a higher intelligence being. Meditation is not having thoughts. Meditation is the absence of our thoughts in its purest form. A Course in Miracles says that only the quiet mind can hear God. I have had many patients over the years that say they can't quieten their mind, that it's racing, and I tell them, no, you can't, but you and God can. So I have a technique that I've been using for about a year, and that is to say God rapidly, like God, 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 and I do it for 1,000 times, and I mix in memory verses, and I mix in love, 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 peace, 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 wisdom, 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 faith, 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 faith. And I say this over and over again, and the more you do it, the quieter your mind can get, because it can't think about anything else but that. So laying aside all goals and listening to the Creator is very curative, and that prepares you for step 2 of the cure. Still on question 3, the cure for all disease and all those things that we don't want. So part 1 of that cure is meditation and listening to God. Part 2 of the cure is affirmation. Now Jesus said that anything that you say in my name, I will do it for you. So an affirmation must be positive, personal, and present tense. So I say, for example, I, Michael, am perfectly healthy. Now what I just did is to put my name, Michael, in between I and am, which is God's name, I am. Therefore it is done for me. Now the answer to question 4, what is the one law of the universe? The one law of the universe is the law of one. The law of one states, all things are one. There is no polarity, no right or wrong, no disharmony, but only identity. All is one, my friends, and that one is love light, light love, the infinite creator. There are no laws but God's, so the law of one is the only law of the entire universe. Now the first sub-law is the law of free will. The second sub-law is the law of love. The third sub-law is the law of wisdom. The fourth sub-law is the law of responsibility. And the fifth sub-law is the law of foreverness. So if you can get your mind around the law of one, which simply stated says that the creation consists of one being, and the law of love that says love is all there is. And so now maybe you can see that conflict is the attempt to break the law of one and to break the law of love. These laws are unbreakable. You cannot break them, but you can break yourself trying to break them. That is why the Course in Miracles says you're doing this to yourself. Disease is not something that happens to us. Disease is something that we cause by our own thinking. Question 6. Who are you? Almost nobody knows who they are. When I used to go to church services, I was taught that I was a miserable sinner who deserved to go to hell to be punished forever and ever. And it was only because of what Jesus has done to me that I was going to sneak in to heaven. You can see that that kind of thought process can be very devastating to a person's health and to their psychological makeup. The truth is that we're all divine. We're just as divine as Jesus Christ. He said the same thing. He taught the law of one in John 17 when he said, I pray, Father, that they may be one, just as you and I are one, you in me and I in them, all perfected into one. That is the law of one in John 17. So now I will summarize these first few points. Number one, the normal lifespan is 900 years, and I'm using my notes here so I can remember it correctly. The cause of all disease is conflict. The cure for any disease is meditation and affirmation. The only law of the universe is the law of one. Who are we all? What is our identity? We are all divine. We are all just as divine as Jesus Christ. So if we're just as divine as Jesus Christ, then our last name is Christ. So I am Michael Christ, and whatever your first name is, take that and go stand in front of a mirror and say, I am Michael Christ, and you see how that feels. I think it's going to feel good. I think it's going to feel very good. Spiritual development is done by meditation, contemplation of the experience, prayer, and study. Number 2, to create beauty in God's name means service to others. Number 3 is to enjoy the process. It is very fun to help other people. Point 7. What is the greatest success technique that has ever been invented? And that is to write your goals down every day. Now, most people do not have goals. So if you don't have goals, start finding some goals. What is your major definite purpose? Make a list of the goals that you want to accomplish in your life and prioritize them and write them down every day. And when you write them down, you do it like I do. You say, I, Michael, love God. I, Michael, am perfectly healthy. And that written goals are much more powerful than just thinking about your goals or having your goals on index cards or just reading your goals. When you're writing your goals down, the thought starts in your parietal lobe of your brain. It then goes into my left hand, since I'm left-handed. It then goes onto the paper. Then I see it, and then it goes into my occipital lobe of my brain, and then I think about it again. That way it circulates it all the way through my brain, and it's very powerful. Point 8. What is the most valuable use of any person's time? And the answer to that is meditation, listening to God, listening to our higher intelligence friends. Now here is an important point about meditation. Jesus said that wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be that pass through thereat. But narrow is the gate, and strait is the way that leads to life, and few that be that find it. Now I'm paraphrasing a little bit to make it more readily understandable to myself and to everybody else. But the gates, where are the gates? The gates are anatomical. The wide gate and the broad way is the 5 senses. The narrow gate and the straight way is the pineal gland, indigo ray, gate of prayer and meditation. Now, if you base your life on the wide gate and the broad way, then you'll be taking in a lot of conflict, and that's what can make you sick. That's what will make you sick. But if you base your life on the narrow gate and the straight way, the gate of prayer and meditation, then that will lead to love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And I'll also add wisdom and perfect health and extreme longevity. Item 9. What is the most important time management question you can ever ask yourself? And the answer to that is, what is the best use of my time right now? And you can only answer that question by having a prioritized list of goals, and then take at each moment the most important goal at the top and accomplish that first, and then work down from there. Now learn about Pareto's rule, Pareto. It's also called the 80-20 rule, and Pareto's rule states that in any prioritized list of goals, the top 20% of the goals contain 80% of the value of those goals. So start at the top and work down. Most people don't have any goals, so they're just like a bump car in a carnival. They're just like a ship without a rudder, drifting around on the sea. But if you have goals, you're like a ship with a rudder that will take you into the rich port of your choice. So if you want to be perfectly healthy, then write your goal down. I, Michael, am perfectly healthy. If you want to be eternally young, then write down, I, Michael, am eternal youth. Think about your goals all the time. Keep your thoughts positive. Every positive thought is a side of the light thought. Every negative thought is a side of darkness thought. Item 10. Item 10. The pyramids. What were they? Here's a hint. They weren't built to bury dead people in. And the larger pyramids were not built by the Egyptians. And now I want to see how sane your mind is as to whether you want to learn some really great stuff that's going to make you healthy and rejuvenate you, or whether you want to stay living in the crazy world. Look, the universe is teeming with life. The extraterrestrials have been helping us, the positive ones, for a very long time. And now I'm going to tell you about a friend of mine, a very good friend I've known for a very long time, who I had the pleasure of meeting and knowing personally on this earth within the last several years. His name, or I might say her name, is Ra, R-A. Ra was not an Egyptian god. He is a six-dimensional social memory group. There are millions in the family of Ra, and Ra has been working with us for a very, very long time, thousands of years. Ra built the Great Pyramid with thought from the everlasting rock, as he calls it. And the pyramid, like I said, was not to bury dead people in. It was a very complex and advanced structure. It was for sensory deprivation, to train the Egyptian priests and priestesses, to initiate the Egyptian priests and priestesses. And by the way, Jesus and John the Baptist were both initiated there. Other important functions of the pyramid are healing and age reversal and communication, travel, and to balance the Earth's electromagnetic fields. The smaller of the pyramids were built under the direction of Imhotep, who was later worshipped as a god. He was incarnated for that purpose. Now I go to item number 11, the Star of Bethlehem. What was it? It was bright. It came and hovered over Bethlehem. I'll give you a hint as to what it really was. And that hint is that the Star of Bethlehem is the same thing as the New Jerusalem that John described in Revelations. Now, keep your minds open. The Star of Bethlehem and the New Jerusalem are the same thing. So John said he saw the New Jerusalem descending from heaven, and he described it as being 500 miles wide. Now, in my meditations, I heard what the New Jerusalem is and what the Star of Bethlehem really is, and not long after that, I got a confirmation. So what will we say about something big and bright and flying around the sky? Nowadays, we might call it a UFO. Well, it might seem to be a UFO to the billions of humans that are asleep here on the earth, but it's not a UFO relative to the millions of beings and billions of beings that are alive and well in this universe and in this solar system. So the Star of Bethlehem was the New Jerusalem, and it wasn't a star, it was a starship. But the New Jerusalem is not new. It's thousands of years old, and it's very near to us now. And here's something I think is beautiful. From everything my research and my meditations tell me, that the New Jerusalem brought the soul of Jesus here to be incarnated into Mary. Now, Jesus was a wanderer. He was from the upper level of the fourth dimension. A wanderer, like Jesus was at that time, and like I am now, is a higher dimensional being who incarnates to a lower vibrational planet to help it in its evolution. Like I said, Jesus was from the higher echelon of the fourth dimension. Now, the fourth dimension is the dimension of the study of love. Earth has just, in the year 2012, moved into the fourth dimension. As of 1983, there were 63 million wanderers here on Earth. There are many more now. The reason for the high number of wanderers is so that we can assist in maximizing the harvest. Every wanderer, including Jesus, has to go before the Council of Nine to get their plan approved before they can incarnate on the earth. The Council of Nine is a council of higher beings who watch over this solar system and guard it. As I said before, Jesus came from the fourth dimension, the dimension of love. And I think he probably came from Venus, because in Revelation, if you remember, he said, I am the bright and morning star. The morning star is Venus. Jesus could have gone ahead and graduated to the fifth dimension, the dimension of the study of wisdom, but he decided to come back here to help us. And it is so good that he did, because his work was perfect. And now, item number 12, the Bible. The Bible is a wonderful book for either side, for either path that you want to travel. Now, half of the Bible was written by the dark side, and so it is an equal opportunity educator. Now, if you want to graduate to the positive side, to the fourth density, positive earth, then interpret the Bible like this: every loving thought is true. So stay with the loving thoughts of the Bible, and that will get you where you want to be. Pay attention to those verses and let the rest go. Think about his words when he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Also these words: love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which do despitefully use you and persecute you. Remember what I said, that every positive thought is a side of the light thought, and every negative thought is a side of darkness thought. Now, if you want to graduate to the dark side, then you can pay attention to the negative thoughts, like all the condemnations, all the thou shalt nots, and about the Israelites when they invaded the land of Palestine and killed everyone there, men, women, and children. That was genocide. That was a tremendous crime. Now, in the churches that I've ever been to, it's proclaimed as a great victory. But no, that's not the way to go. Now I want to read you a passage from Secrets of the UFO by Don Elkins and Carla Ruckert. There is one last thing to be said about evil and our perception of it. This is one way of designating in your own consciousness who is of the Christ force and who is of the Antichrist force. You will see many who will cry out that there is no God. Come and fight shoulder to shoulder with you for peace and love and brotherhood equally for all men, for all time. This is truly one who is of the Christ force. You will see many others who profess to be of God, speaking words of God, who will say that some are to be saved and some are to be damned. These you will know are not of the Christ light, for the Christ light speaks of brotherhood first and foremost, and will defend the right of all men everywhere to share equally with their brothers. So since our main topic here is the fountain of youth and how to live 900 years, I must re-emphasize the fact that youthfulness and longevity and perfect health depends on your relationships with your fellow beings. We must get along. We must love each other. We must harmonize. It is possible in one fine moment for the entire planet Earth to convert to harmony. This is my prayer. Psalms 2 has long been one of my memory verses, but over the last few months, I have not had the willingness to repeat it because it speaks of wrath and anger and perishing from the way. So I rewrote it to make it a side of the light Psalms. I will read it for you. The new Psalms 2. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The rulers of the earth take counsel together against the Lord and his faithful ones, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall deal with them patiently. Then shall he speak unto them in his love, and bless them with his many blessings, saying, yet have I created my kingdom for all the peoples of the earth. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my sons and daughters, and I love thee each tenderly. Ask of me, and I shall give thee all the peoples of the earth to be thy brothers and sisters, and the uttermost parts of the earth to share with them equally. Thou shalt heal each wound with forgiveness. Thou shalt repair each relationship with understanding. Be wise now, therefore, O ye rulers. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Creator with respect, and rejoice in his many blessings. Pay homage to the Creator, for his mercy endureth forever. All the peoples of the earth are surrounded by his loving kindness. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. Rewritten to be a Side of the Light Psalms by Michael Byron Taylor, July the 30th, 2019, in the sixth year of the fourth dimension of planet Earth. 3 of the greatest books that have ever been written are The Law of One by Ra, an humble messenger of the Law of One, and A Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles is the channel work of Jesus, and Secrets of the UFO by Carla Ruckert and Don Elkins. The Law of One books are the channel work of Ra. And another great book is Initiation by Elizabeth Heish. I want to talk about some very important quotes from these books. A Course in Miracles says you're affected only by your thoughts, and if you think about it for a while, that is very powerful. In the Law of One books, Ra says that an entity that is perfectly balanced in the Law of One will not age. And by perfect balanced, he means that the entity is balanced perfectly between love and wisdom, which means that the entity is pure love imbued with wisdom to the exclusion of fear, anger, hatred, and conflict. In Secrets of the UFO, the statement is made that you cannot experience anything which you cannot think, and I extrapolate that to mean that you cannot experience anything that you do not think. In Initiation, Elizabeth Heish says that you can experience anything and manifest anything that you can imagine. Now let's talk about Walt Disney. What a guy. Walt Disney said, "Your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions." I love movies, especially classic movies. But over a year ago, knowing these things we just talked about, I threw away all my movies with murder and extreme violence and war because I don't want to imagine that, because I know if I watch all that, I'm going to reproduce it to some degree in my own life. And if I'm watching death occur, then death will occur. Death is not inevitable. It is possible for us to be transmuted into a sacramental form where death does not happen. In the Bible, there were two people that did not die. Elijah was taken away by a fiery chariot. What do you think that is? The same thing as the New Jerusalem, except smaller. And Enoch was translated as... In A Course in Miracles, Jesus says you can laugh at death. Does that mean that you can laugh while you're dying? No, that's not what it means. It means that you can laugh at death because you know that death is not inevitable. Death is an option that you can choose or that you can reject. So my favorite movies used to be Ben-Hur and Singing in the Rain. Ben-Hur has a lot of violence in it, a lot of death. It went into the trash. So did all my Columbo movies, so did all my Perry Mason movies, so did all my war movies. Now my favorite movies are Singing in the Rain with Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds, and Francis of Assisi with Bradford Dillman. It's an awesome movie. So I've got to ask the question again, is the proof in the pudding? I have not missed a day of work because of illness since 1982. I do not have accidents. I'm happy all the time. And now I have found out how to arrest and to reverse the aging process. Now I want to summarize again my reasons for incarnating on planet Earth. Number one is to save the planet from nuclear destruction or otherwise. Number two is to increase the harvest of souls as much as possible. And number three is to heal as many people as want to be healed. And number four is to serve my fellow brothers and sisters as much as I can. Now let's talk about each of those things in more depth, especially the part about saving the planet from nuclear destruction or otherwise. Two other planets have been destroyed in our solar system. The asteroid belt was a planet called Maldek, and they blew themselves up with nuclear weapons. On Mars, they ruined their atmosphere with nuclear war. So part of the Fountain of Youth formula is world peace, because if we blow ourselves up, then if you're young, that's not going to matter. So I have a world purification prayer that I pray every day, and in a little bit I'll tell you how to get that prayer, because I need your help. We need to work on this together.
As I said before, it is possible in one fine moment that the entire earth could convert to harmony. And if we will do that, if we will convert to harmony, then all those earth changes that have been predicted by so many prophets will not occur, and then we'll be able to walk through to the fourth dimension peacefully and beautifully. Now let's talk about how to increase the harvest, because I need your help on this too. It's not what almost anybody thinks, and it's not what the churches think. It has everything to do with my definition of love, which I brought with me to this planet. Love is feelings and thoughts and words and actions that convey a concern for another being, person, or thing which is equal to or greater than one's concern for himself or herself. Now that is the exact definition for the requirement for the graduation to the fourth dimension, the fourth density of love. This is what Jesus was talking about when he, in his Sermon on the Mount, said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Now, meekness means gentleness, it means loving, and it means kindness. So the fact is, according to Ra and other sources, that the requirement for the graduation to the fourth density of a third dimensional being is to be 50% or more service to others. And the requirement to graduate to a fourth density, a fourth dimensional planet on the dark side, the negative side, is a 95% service to self or more. Now, all those that are in between 50% and 95% will have to retake the third dimensional course on another planet, which is up to 75,000 years. So it would be much better to polarize one way or the other and move up. Now, so it's just like Jesus said, wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be that pass through thereat. Very few will graduate either way. Very few people understand. Now, some more good news is that there is no hell, but that is a teaching that the dark side uses to try to manipulate you and control you, which is what they like to do. But there is a dark side. Now, the beings that graduate to the dark side must be very perfidious. Now, the beings that have already graduated in that direction include Rasputin, Taurus Bulba, and Genghis Khan. And another piece of good news, if you are a merciful person, which is what you should be, is that the dark side will all convert in the sixth dimension, which may be 2.5 billion years from now. They will all convert to the side of the light, because it's our destiny eventually to be totally unified. So what that means is that Jesus can't save you, Muhammad can't save you, Confucius can't save you, but the teachings of Jesus can get you to the fourth dimension. So follow his teachings. The teachings are for us to love the Lord our God with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves, at least as much as ourselves. My mom and dad taught us, and this is the formula that works: put God first, family second, others third, and self last. That works. And remember these teachings of Jesus. Love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which do despitefully use you and persecute you. I want you to understand that you cannot win by defeating someone else, because if you win and somebody else loses and we're all one, then you have one win and you have one loss, and that is 1 minus 1 is 0. I'm looking at the score from the 2019 Super Bowl game,
And the score says New England Patriots 13 and the Los Angeles Rams 3. So let's say that the offenses scored 16 points and the defenses gave up 16 points. So you have 16 scored and 16 given up. And since the Patriots and the Rams are 1, you have 0 that scored points. So if you can't win by defeating someone else, how can you win? The answer is easy. You help somebody else to win. Because if you help somebody else to win, then they win. And you win because you help somebody else. And that's the name of the game. That's what we're here for. Each part of the universe is created to serve other parts of the universe. So you have one win, and you have one win. One win for you, one win for them. And that's 1 plus 1 is 2. And then God adds another 10 wins to that. So you got 12 wins, and that's what I call miracle multiplication. So let me go over my mission goals again. To save the planet, help me. To increase the harvest, help me with that. To heal as many people as want to be healed. Now, a lot of people do not want to be healed. When Jesus healed people, a lot of times he would ask them, do you want to be healed? I have seen people with cancers who would not undergo therapy because they were getting so many secondary benefits from having that cancer. Their families, for example, were paying much attention to them. Many people on earth are affected by psychosclerosis, a hardening of the minds. They don't want to change their belief system, and that's what's making them sick. Their belief system is because it's giving them pathologic thoughts. A positive and healthy belief system is this: the universe is good, the universe is friendly, God is good, God is love. You are wonderful, you are good, you are perfect. You're here for a reason. Find out what that reason is and go with that with all you've got. And then establish goals to be able to accomplish your purpose more effectively. And then study to learn how to acquire skills to be able to accomplish your goals with more efficiency. And then take action by serving others with all your might. And then realize that you're affected only by your thoughts, that circumstances have nothing to do with it. Napoleon said, circumstances, what are circumstances? I am circumstances. So know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. We are all here to continually grow in the mind, the body, and the spirit. Now, it is very helpful to keep an open mind, and when an idea comes along that is better than the ideas and the beliefs that you have, it is very healthy and very profitable to throw away the old ideas and embrace the new. George Bernard Shaw said, and I paraphrase, "The reasonable man conforms to the world around him. The unreasonable man insists on conforming the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." I've taught this to many of my patients. Psalms 1 is the fountain of youth. Let me recite it to you, and I think you'll be able to see that. "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper." You just heard the fountain of youth. Let's go over it again. "But his delight, his happiness, is in the law of the Lord. The law of the Lord is the law of one. The creation consists of one being. And in his law doth he meditate day and night." That means 24 hours a day, of either meditation or semi-meditation. And in his law doth he meditate day and night, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. Now we are all like a tree, an upside down tree, where the spirit is up toward heaven and the leaves are nearer the earth. His delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. The rivers of water is intelligent energy, or the Holy Spirit from heaven. And when we meditate, that will flow through our spirit, which is nearer heaven, and it will come into us and re-energize us and revivify us. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. Now what are the fruits of the Spirit? They were love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And I also add wisdom. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither. So we have spirit up top. We have mind filled with love and all those other things in the middle. And near the earth, his leaf also shall not wither. Spirit, mind, leaf is the body. Your body will not wither, will not age, will not grow old, will be healthy all the time, will be happy all the time if you will meditate 24 hours a day, in either total meditation or semi-meditation like I do. Now, Jesus said that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word which proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Now, he's talking about meditation here. Now, when you meditate, the intelligent energy, it's intelligent, it will give you wisdom and knowledge, and it is energy, it will give you energy, revivifies you and re-energizes you. We're each given enough vital energy to last for 70 years, at least most of us, and if we do not re-energize ourselves and revivify ourselves through the use of intelligent energy, that will wear out and we grow old and we die. But if we will meditate, like I said, we can live as long as we want to, because it's energy up from the earth through the red ray, the red chakra, and it is intelligence down from heaven that can make us perfect, make us beautiful, make us revivified moment by moment, and make us very happy and keep us well. Now understand the importance of every word. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word which proceedeth forth out of the mouth of God. Now what proceeds forth out of the mouth of God? It's intelligent energy. We have to have that to be revivified and re-energized. Now we have to be peaceful, and we have to be loving, and we have to be pure, to vibrate at the level of intelligent energy, so we'll be able to receive it. We're like a radio receiver, that if we are vibrating at the very low level of fear, anger, hatred, and conflict, we won't be able to tune in to the higher frequency love light love from God. But if we will fill our minds with love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control and wisdom, and I must add forgiveness, then we can vibrate at the higher frequency, the violet flame frequency, the intelligent energy frequency, and then we can receive the revivification, re-energization, and the wisdom from above, and that will increase our vital energy and allow us to live in a perfect state without showing any signs of aging for 900 years. So now let's talk about how Jesus did it. I'm going to read from the Law of One by Ra, an humble messenger of the Law of One. This is from session 17, question 18, Don Elkins. then if the entity Jesus was fourth density, and there are wonders on the planet today who came from fifth and sixth density, what was it that Jesus did that enabled him to be such a good healer? And could these fifth and sixth density beings here today do the same? Ra, I am Ra. Those who heal may be of any density which has the consciousness of the Spirit. This includes third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. The third density can be one in which healing takes place, just as the others. However, there is more illusory material to understand, to balance, to accept, and to move forward from. The gate to intelligent infinity, which is God, can only be opened when an understanding of the instreamings of intelligent energy are opened unto the healer. These are the so-called natural laws of your local space-time continuum and its web of electromagnetic sources or nexi of instreaming energy. Okay, now here's how Jesus did it. Know then first the mind and the body. Then, as the spirit is integrated and synthesized, those are harmonized into a mind-body-spirit complex which can move among the dimensions and which can open the gateway to intelligent infinity, thus healing self by light and sharing that light with others. True healing is simply the radiance of the self causing an environment in which a catalyst may occur which initiates the recognition of self by self, of the self-healing properties of the self. Okay, I have listed the things that Jesus did that made him such a great healer in a few different kinds of words. I will read that. Know the mind and the body, number 1. Number 2, synthesize the spirit. Number 3, integrate the spirit into mind, body, spirit. Number 4, harmonize mind, body, spirit. 5, open the gateway to intelligent infinity. 6, move among the dimensions. 7, heal self by light. 8, share the light and heal others. That's pretty awesome. I have written off to the side of that, wow, in big letters with an exclamation point after it. Okay, I want to go over the 8 steps again and talk about each one. Number 1, know the mind and the body. We did that in medical school. Learn how to eat properly. Learn how to exercise. Learn psychology so you'll know how your mind works, and I'll tell you how to do that in a little bit. Number 2, synthesize the spirit. Did we learn that in medical school? No. Did we learn that in church? No. I'm going to tell you how to do it in just a minute. We'll talk about the prayer of St. Francis. Integrate the spirit into mind, body, spirit. Now, how do you do that? By meditation. That will balance the inner self with the outer self. Harmonize mind, body, spirit. Now, first you have to harmonize your relationships with your other self, since we're all one. If you're in conflict with anybody else, then you can't harmonize yourself. So forgive them, love them, accept them just as they are. Love them unconditionally, infinitely, and forever. And then you can love yourself. You'll know how to love yourself then. And you do that with meditation also. Open the gateway to intelligent infinity. The gateway is the pineal gland indigo ray gateway. It can be opened through the will and the faith and the purity, which means pure love. Move among the dimensions. Now, Ross says that the faith and the will are trans-dimensional. You got to really want this before you can get it done and have faith. So how do you increase your faith and your will? You do this with affirmations, repeated affirmations. I, Michael, am perfectly healthy. I, Michael, love my neighbor as myself. And when you do affirmations enough, you'll go from positive thinking to positive knowing. And that way you can be crystallized in the law of one. And your body will be ennobled and enabled and made sacramental, and age is 20 years young appearing. Now, Ra also says that the faith in the will is increased by concentration. The adepts can think about and concentrate on one thing for several minutes, and it will be done for them. The faith. Number 7, heal self by light. Intelligent energy is the perfect light. It's the light of creation. It's the light of the Logos. We screw ourselves up through conflict and negative emotions, but we can allow intelligent energy to reform that. The higher self can send us the love light, which is perfect, which will open up all our light rays, all our chakras. All our chakras will be open one to the other, and it will perfect everything. Number 8, share the light and heal others. We are all composed of light. We're all composed of electromagnetic energy. The atomic bomb was invented, unfortunately, and that turned matter into light. The love light from God turns energy into matter. So if you will share your light with others, and Jesus said, we are the light of the world, and he was talking about something very literal, then we can help heal others by giving. And we heal others by giving them a catalyst to want to change. If you are something wonderful like Jesus, then people are going to want to throw away their old ideas, their old beliefs, their old ways, and go your way because they saw how happy he was and how joyful he was, how beautiful he was. So he often said, your faith has made you whole. Now your faith body is your 6-dimensional space-time higher self. Your higher self always has the ability, once you have learned your lessons and changed your mind about what you want to be, to heal you and make you perfect and beautiful. Now here's some really exciting things. I'm going to talk about and read about what Ra says about the lifespan 75,000 years ago on Earth, and why it became shortened, and why 900 years is the optimal lifespan for us to be able to learn the lessons of love in the 3rd dimension. This is from the Law of One, Book 1, Session 20. Don Elkins, thank you. As soon as the density started 75,000 years ago, and we have incarnate 3rd density entities, what was the average human lifespan at that time? Ra, I am Ra. At the beginning of this period of your space-time continuum, the average lifetime was approximately 900 of your years. Okay, so now we'll talk about the reasons for the shortened lifespan. Don Elkins, can you tell me the reason for this shortening of lifespan? Ra, I am Ra. The causes of this shortening are always an euphonious or inharmonious relational vibration between other selves. In the first cycle, this was not severe, but due to the dispersion of peoples and the growing feeling complex distortions toward separateness from other selves. Okay, this is really good. This is very important. Why is 900 years just right for our optimum lifespan? Don Elkins, can you tell me why 900 years is the optimum lifespan? Ra, I am Ra. The mind-body-spirit complex of 3rd density has perhaps 100 times as intensive a program of catalytic action from which to distill distortions and learn teachings than any other of the densities. Thus, the learned teachings are most confusing to the mind-body-spirit complex, which is, shall we say, inundated by the ocean of experience. During the first, shall we say, 100 to 200 of your years, as you measure time, a mind-body-spirit complex is going through the process of a spiritual childhood. The mind and the body are not enough in a disciplined configuration to lend clarity to the spiritual influxes. Thus, the remaining time span is given to optimize the understandings which result from the experience itself. And now question 5, Don Elkins. Then at present, it would seem that our lifespan is much too short for those who are new to third density lessons. Is this correct? Ra, I am Ra. This is correct. Those entities which have in some way learned, taught themselves the appropriate distortions for rapid growth can now work within the confines of the shorter lifespan. However, the greater preponderance of your entities find themselves in what may be considered a perpetual childhood. So that's why we have so much craziness going on, how so many people are acting like babies because they are babies. So we got to help them to grow. And remember, that process is always spiritual development, which is meditation, contemplation, prayer, and study, and to love them, and to accept them, and to harmonize with them in every way we can. Now I want to talk about some of the technical reasons for the rapid aging process and the physics of that. So we talked about earlier the many reasons why the pyramids were built. And one of these was for age reversal. So Don asked him in session 59, question 17, are there any other effects of the pyramid shape beside the spirals that we have just discussed? And he says, other of these places are those wherein perfect sleep may be obtained and age reversed. These characteristics are not important. Well, they weren't important to him, but they are to me, and that's why I'm doing this video, among other reasons. So then Don asked him where it is, and he explains that it's in between the wall and the Queen's chamber. So then Don Elkins asked Ra, why would this reverse aging? Ra, I am Ra. Aging is a function of the effects of various electromagnetic fields upon the electromagnetic fields of the mind-body-spirit complex. In this position, there is no input or disturbance of the fields, nor is any activity within the electromagnetic field complex of the mind-body-spirit complex allowed full sway. The vacuum sucks away any disturbance. Thus, the entity feels nothing and is suspended. Perfect sleep is perfect peace. So the thing that makes people sick and gets them in trouble is conflict with other selves, which is conflict with the self, since we're all one. So peace is health and conflict is disease. Now I want to talk about the spirit complex and ways to synthesize that so we can get the love light from God and remain peaceful all the time. Now, the Law of One books are the channel work of Ra. A Course in Miracles is the channel work of Jesus Christ. Both my brothers. So, Carla Ruckert was the channel and Don Elkins was the questioner. Now, before each session of channeling, Carla Ruckert would recite the prayer of St. Francis. Okay, here was the discussion relative to the prayer of St. Francis in session 22, question 2. Don Elkins, secondly, she would like to know why she feels more healthy now after she does these sessions. She's generally feeling more healthy as time goes on. Ra, I am Ra. This is a function of the free will of the entity. This entity has for many years prayed a certain set of sound vibration complexes before opening to communication. Before the trance state was achieved, this prayer remained within the conscious portion of the mind complex, and though helpful, was not as effective as the consequence of this prayer, as you would call this vibrational sound complex, which then goes directly into the unconscious level, thus more critically affecting the communication from the spirit complex. So she prayed the prayer of St. Francis, and this healed her. And this is what happens. I've had 2 patients healed by the power of God through Psalms 91. I have had many people who are anxious or depressed or blood pressure way too high that I recited Psalms 23 to, and I saw the blood pressure coming down, I saw the emotions smooth out, and I saw the heart rate slow, and there became peace and health. So I read this several years ago, and then a few months ago I decided to throw away all my movies with murder and war in them and to start studying the saints. Then I came across the great movie Francis of Assisi with Bradford Dillman in it, and it's awesome. So he recited this prayer in such a beautiful way that I memorized it as he recited it. So I memorized the prayer just as he said it in the movie, and it goes like this. I'm not a very good preacher. I was called to do and not to preach. So I'll have to let the olive branch do the preaching for me. It is by far the better preacher. Lord, give me the voice of thy people in prayer. Lord, make me the instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I might not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving that we receive, and it is in the pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in the walking in the light that we are born to eternal life. Adonai, Baragas, Amen. Accurate. Now Adonai, Baragas, Amen means in the name of the One and its glorious love and light. I salute you. I am with you always. So be it. Now I'm going to summarize the major points that I've made on this video, and then we're going to talk about an action plan that you can start implementing within the next 60 seconds, hopefully, and get this done. Take the baton and run the race. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Freedom is so beautiful. It is our heritage. It is our birthright. Okay, the major points. I'm going to use my notes. I got to get it right. What is the normal lifespan? 900 years. What's the cause of all disease and all unhappiness, all accidents, and the aging process? It's conflict. Harmony will fix all that. Peace will fix all that. Number 3, what's the cure for all disease? It is spiritual development, meditation, contemplation, prayer, and study. And then meditation combined with affirmation. Also, harmony. And memory verses. The prayer of St. Francis. Memorize those things. Work at it. And beauty of all kinds will help you harmonize with the creation and make you live a long time. The law of one. Memorize the law of one. All things are one. There is no polarity, no right or wrong, no disharmony, but only identity. All is one, my friends, and that one is love, light, light, love, the infinite creator, and you're part of that. It's awesome. Realize it. Make it happen. Feel it deep down in your heart. Who are you? You are the Christ, the Son of the living God, or the daughter of the living God. You are the Prince, the son of the great king, or you are the princess, the daughter of the great king. Get used to that. Go stand in front of the mirror. I am Michael Christ. You're worthy. You're wonderful. You're awesome. You're perfect. Get in touch with that perfection. Your higher self is your real self. Get to know that self. Why are you here? Number 1, spiritual development, and that is done with meditation, contemplation, prayer, and study. Number 2, to create beauty in God's name by service to others. Number 3, to enjoy the process. What is the greatest success technique that's ever been devised is to write your goals down every day and use the I am command to do that. What is the most important and most valuable use of any person's time? It is meditation, listening to God or higher intelligence beings. What is the most important and valuable time management question that you can ever ask yourself? It is, what is the best use of my time right now? And the answer to that is to accomplish your goals. Start at the top and work down. I am here for several reasons. Number one is to save the planet from nuclear war or otherwise. Number two is to increase the harvest. Now the harvest, the positive beings must be at least 50% service to others or more. So concentrate on that. Learn to give. When you give, you're winning. You cannot defeat anyone and win. You cannot win by defeating anyone else. You can only win by helping other people win. I'm here to heal as many people as want to be healed. And I'm here to do anything else that I can to help my brothers and sisters along their path. And then I'm also here to enjoy the process. It's very enjoyable. Remember the levels of belief. God, the universe, is very friendly. God is love. That's all He is. He's not fear. He's not anger. He's not mad at anybody. He's not judgment. God is just love. And remember my definition of love. Love is feelings, thoughts, words, or actions that convey a concern for another being, person, or thing which is equal to or greater than one's concern for himself or herself. And now I'm going to give you a specific action plan that you can start on today. You better start on today. So I'm going to use my notes again too so I can remember it and get it right as well. So we're mind, body, spirit complexes. So let's start on the physical. Diet. Start with your diet. Fiber-based diet. Eat at least 25 grams of fiber a day. That way you'll fill up on healthy fiber and you won't be having any room for junk food. Drink a lot of water. Water's good for you. It washes away the impurities. Exercise every day. Consider exercising every day like I do. I haven't been to the gym for years, but I run exercises in my house. I do push-ups and sit-ups, floor exercises, and I use exercise bands. Consider that. Now we'll talk about the mental. Psychology is very important. Jesus said, even as a man or woman thinketh in his heart or her heart, so is he or she. So think good thoughts, think positive thoughts. Every loving thought is true, and every thought is a call for help and for healing. So get in touch with that and do that. I want you, if you haven't studied it already, to go to Amazon.com or to the Nightingale Conant Foundation and order The Psychology of Achievement by Brian Tracy. It's the best use of audio visual material, except for this video, of course, ever produced. I have listened to it many times, and on the video it says it's possible to live with only positive emotions. I didn't think so at the time, but I'm almost there. So positive emotions, remember, are the side of the light emotions. Positive thoughts are side of the light thoughts. Negative thoughts are side of darkness thoughts. So stay in the positive. And now the spiritual. Meditate. Just say God and listen. Quiet your mind. If you can't do it, ask God to help you. He will do that. If you don't have a long time to do it, just do it when you can. The more you do it, the better you'll be. So the spiritual development course is meditation, contemplation of the experience, prayer, and study. There's a lot of things that you can study besides the Bible. Pay attention to the positive thoughts in the Bible, let the rest go, and then move on to the higher texts. Study A Course in Miracles. It's available online for free. It's available, but I recommend the paper book as well. It took me 12 and a half years to read it,
And now I'm rereading it, and I have hundreds of notes in there and cross-references. It's very valuable. And it's probably the best psychological text ever written. So get it and read it. Next, buy my book. I wrote a book. It's awesome. It's called The Fountain of Youth Journal. It's available on Amazon.com, the Kindle book, and the paperback. Buy them both. Buy a bunch of them. Give them to your friends. Check out my website. It's called drbluehat.com. It's DOCTORBLUEHAT. The reason I call myself that is because I like to wear a blue hat. But it's not about the hat. It's about something else that I'll tell you later. If you want, on my website, there's a calendar. If you want to make an appointment to talk to me and do a virtual visit, audiovisual visit, there's an application there. Just follow the instructions and put your name in there. Do that. And just put your name in there, sign up, and I'll get with you. Now on the website, I do, in the state of Texas, which is where I am, and I have my license in Texas, I do general practice, I do Christian psychiatry, I do second opinions. Outside of the state of Texas, I can do patient information, like if you need to know about some disease Aunt Lucy has, we can talk about that. I do spiritual healing. I'm going to plan on doing one video a week, and I will tell you my schedule for that. And if there's something comes up, I will do more often. I will do it more often. Now, if you will, on this video, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and like it if you will. I am very happy if I just help one person with my book or my website or my practice or my videos. But the more the better. The more people we get doing spiritual development and helping to save the world, and we'll talk about how to do that a little later, and helping each other and increasing the harvest and in healing each other, the better. The more the better. Also, if you will, click on the notifications button. Tell your friends and family about these videos. It will help them as well. The more we have harmonizing together as possible in one fine moment, that the complete population of the earth could convert to harmony. This is my prayer. Thank you very much. Oh, one more thing. Always want to remember to say this. I love you. And now we'll have a virtual visit of Dr. Blue Hat Central in Tyler, Texas. My diploma, look at this. Look at that diploma. That's from the University of Texas Medical School in Galveston. And there's my internship certificate. And there's my Texas A&M diploma, magna cum laude. It would have been summa cum laude, except my Spanish professor would not raise 89.5 to 90. And there's the website, drbluehat.com. So if you want to schedule an appointment with me for a virtual visit, just say schedule an appointment. That'll give you a calendar and tell you how to do it. And the appointment will be on the mobile app on your iPhone or your intelligent device. And you can download the app on your iPhone by just clicking this little button, or you can just do a search on your app store for Medici, M-E-D-I-C-I, and then put in the code TAYLTL546, and then text me at the time of the appointment, and I will answer that text, and we can have a real-time audio-visual consult. It's awesome. I'm a very good teacher. Many of my patients have said I'm the best doctor they've ever seen, and they say that I have the best bedside manner of any doctor they've ever seen. And I may even end up being the best audiovisual doctor ever, so we'll have to see. Test me out. Give me a try. Okay, now we're just going to go a little room tour here. So here's where I record. There's my swimming pool outside. I've actually been swimming some this summer since I'm not in the emergency room anymore.
There's some of my medical school books and my psychology books. I've read them all. They're awesome. There's a few of my pyramids. More of my books. I love books. And there's the lake view behind my house. I love to take walks on the lake. It's very relaxing here. Here's my TV set where I watch Turner Classic Movies and Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and Singing in the Rain and Francis and my movies about the Saints. So I gotta say it one more time. I gotta say it one more time. You can't say this too much. I gotta say it one more time. So I've gotta say it one more time. You can't say it too much. I love you.
Dancing and singing in